What about now? To start over again. Everything that I was saying. Can you hear me now? I guess that's a yes. Hey, Christine, thank you. Oh, it's StreamYard spit the answers at me and I didn't see them. Okay, so good. And so far, I'm not hearing sound from my other device. I tried to switch things up this week because if I don't put my microphone on my other device, then I hear stuff and it makes me nuts. And I'm sure everybody else can hear it too. Anyway, I started off by saying welcome to everybody. I'm Cyndi, and I'm really glad to have everybody here. Anybody that's new coming in after the live stream, thanks for coming. I hope you enjoy today's project. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous here in Northeast Ohio. It's going to be in the 80s today, sunny, and I am wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to create. So I'm really excited. What I have for you today is I have a fun project. We're going to do stained glass cards. And they're things that you can use to create artist trading cards, which are little 2.5 by 3.5 inch cards that people trade, kind of like mini works of art. You can do that. You can use them to create tags that you might put in a junk journal, or you can use the technique to create greeting cards. Whatever it is that you do, you can find an adaptation for your style of art. So that is what we're going to do today. Now, I posted over on Instagram a list of supplies in case anybody wanted to join in. However, as I was gathering stuff, I, of course, was like getting all these little ahas. And I'm like, oh, we could do this and we could do that. So I don't have an X-Acto knife actually here. I could not find it. I thought I could find it at home and I did not find it. So I have grabbed some, oh, we don't have that camera on here. Let's do this. All right. So I have grabbed an X-Acto, not an X-Acto, a utility knife. I use this a lot for just about everything. You want some sort of card. Hang on. I'm using tags today, but you can certainly use any type of cardstock that you have on hand. Oh, that's a great idea, Christine. And I do have your name right, correct? I'm so awful. Anyway, you could use an index card, you could use cardstock, you can use, pretty much whatever is easy for you to cut with your X-Acto knife and, or utility knife. So what I did, like I said, I'm using tags today. Oh, that one's a mess on the back. But anyway, so just these little manila tags. And I painted mine with black acrylic paint. So I painted about 5 of them so that we had a whole bunch of different things to work with today. So what we're going to do is you have 2 options for doing this. And I really wish I had my X-Acto knife because I think an X-Acto knife makes it a lot easier to do. And I have seen other people do this. I'm not claiming, rights to it or anything like that. And I really wish I could remember who I saw do it because I would give credit, but I don't. So the first way that you can work with this, and I have a cutting mat or a cutting surface on my table, is you can just do random cuts. Okay, and what do I mean by that? I mean, for instance, I can take my X-Acto knife and I can just start making little random cuts into my tag however I want to do it. And again, the X-Acto knife would give me more control. But I'm just going to cut into my thing that's just a little triangle. And I'm going to cut that out. And you know what? I'm actually going to make I'm going to well, it doesn't like that because it says my audio was removed. Let's see if, no, okay. Here we go. There we go. Yay. Okay. So you don't have to really watch my face while I'm doing this. I can get up close. All right, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make sure I'm making really good cuts on this. And again, ideally, you are going to want to use an X-Acto knife if you have one. I have learned from experience that I can always make things do. So I can work with just about any any lemons that life gives me. I can work with. Okay, I am not pulling directly to my body, by the way. I'm pulling to the side just in case. And I'm giving myself, and I'll pull this up so you can see it. I'm giving myself like a margin at the edge. As I'm doing this. Like that. Just pull that off. You can also use this technique to make your own stencils, which is a really cool thing to do. But so I can just keep adding these here as I decide, where I decide, and whatever pattern I decide. As I'm using the X-Acto knife, I'm using just, excuse me, the utility knife. I'm just making very straight forms. It's very hard. Oops, and I went off the edge there. You don't want to do that. Again, your X-Acto as opposed to a utility knife will give you the ability to have more control. But, all right, like that. Okay, so I have this. All right. Now, rather than keep going with that all the way down, because my tool is not the best tool, I'll show you what I mean. So we could take some tissue paper, and I have a couple different kinds of tissue paper here. I have, this is pattern paper, and then this actually is more like a packing paper. It's not exactly a tissue paper, but it'll still work for my purposes. It's yellow. And then I have white paper, and I might show you a little bit later some fun things that we can do also with the tissue paper and rubber stamps. So I have that like that, and I'm going to just, I kind of like the idea of having the yellow behind the black. So because let's do it two ways. I'll show you what it looks like. I could cover it all completely. So I could cover it all completely like that in the back, or I could take and I could cut and make different shapes. So I can take my scissors, I can cut this out. And then I could glue that onto there, like that, and just cover that line. Now, if you don't like the, and I painted this kind of haphazardly with the black paint, so you see paint streaks. I don't know if you guys see them or not, but you can make that as neat as you want to when you're doing it. So I can glue that right to the back of that, and then I can take, and I could use my pattern paper, and I could do, oh, that's, you're not going to see it, let's do it this way. I could cut out, and notice I'm just drawing a little line that's a little bit larger than the space that I'm using this for. I'm going to cut that out. And I'm doing it so that you can see that line through it because I think that adds interest. Okay, so let's do it so that we can see that. I don't remember which way I had it. Oh, we got the text there. Maybe not the line, but the text. So that's kind of cool. Oh yeah, that's fun. So you can see the text through there. So let's glue those down so you guys can see what I mean. And I'm just using a standard old Elmer's glue stick. I'm trying to find the one that has the cap that comes off easier than the other one. All right. And I'm actually, to make my life easier, I'm just going to put the glue right around the outside edge of what I have cut. Put that there. And then I'm going to put my pattern paper down. Okay, well, that was accidental, but I like it. All right, so that's what we have there. Okay, so I've got those two things going on. And I might come in here. Let's show you the other thing for kicks and giggles. Let's come in here. And what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to cut out a big piece of this clear, or not clear, white tissue paper. So that's why I was saying that when I started to grab, or when I wrote down the, hold on. When I wrote down on Instagram the supplies to bring, I didn't think of all the different things that I could do, and I was having aha moments. So you can take this tissue paper, and if you notice when I use this, I liked the fact that it had the markings on it, so I can actually make my own marking by doing a couple of different things. What I didn't bring. Okay, I've got. Oh, it's right in front of my face. Don't you love that? Not the stamp. All right, so I brought also over to play with some of my favorite stamps. I use these all the time, these little flourish stamps. So I'm going to take my favorite one off of there, which is just this pattern right here. I love that stamp. And I'm not using the colored block. Some stamping purists would, maybe be mortified by that, but I don't. I just use the stamp like that. And I have this Adirondack pitch black ink that I'm going to use. Thank you, Christine. And it's fun because I'm showing you the nuts and bolts of this little technique. And I'm hoping that everybody can see where you can step off with it. That's always my goal, is to show you kind of a simplified technique, and then let your creativity run until you see what you can do with it in your own artwork. Because you guys can do amazing things that I may not have even dreamed of. All right, this ink pad is not the greatest in the world as far as how juicy it is, but we'll see what we can get going on here. I probably have that came out good. I probably have a black stave on somewhere, but here at the studio. But I think when I went to World Collage Day the other day, I packed up a bunch of stuff and I didn't get put back where it was supposed to go. So let's put this just in a different place. Just because I have it out. I don't need to stamp it more than once. It's just because I have it out. I might as well make a few of them and I can use them again. I actually want to turn this around. Unless I was stamping with the need for exact precision, which I'm not doing now, this stamping without a block is perfectly functional for me. So that's what I do. And even though I got some extra on my paper, it doesn't matter because I'm either tearing this up to use in collage or I'm using it here. Exactly, Christine. I like that idea of using, putting little faces in the windows. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do, and I love when other people put their mark on it, on the technique. All right, so I'm making a whole page of flourishes just for my own personal use. I think the weather is amazing everywhere because I usually have some regulars that pop in and I don't see them today. Everybody's out enjoying the weather, which I would be, except I need to be here doing stuff. I have to do my shipping later today. All right, so I have a whole page full of these, and I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to pop one behind there for you, because I think that'll be kind of cool. And I'm just going to, I like those circles. Let's do this. And cut that out. There I have that. Glue that on. Like that, and I am not at all concerned that that went over the edge because I can always put that off. But look how that looks on the front. Very fun. So those are three distinctly different things that I've done there. And let's go in here and make another shape. How do I want to make this triangle? Start it this way. Yeah, let's make this kind of a triangle. This will be fun. And I'm having much more control right now because I'm not going as hard. Because I can come back in and I can cut more later. All these things that make life easier. Well, hey, Delbert, thanks for coming. All right, so I got a big one there. I'm going to put a big piece of this on there. Yeah. So what we're doing today, Delbert, is we are making stained glass. We're not making really anything, but we're doing a stained glass technique that you can use in a variety of different projects. It's a wonderful little paper craft thing. You can do this in a junk journal too. Imagine if you cut your pages on one side this way, put the tissue paper on the other side. You could sandwich tissue paper between pages. It's just the sky's the limit, whatever you guys decided that you wanted to do with it. Okay, see how that came out with the stamping on it? So now I've done that, shown three different ways, or different types of, let's get it in the right place, to do with the tissue paper. So I have that yellow, which is just a straight, colored tissue paper. And then I have this over here, which is pattern paper. So like dress pattern paper. And then this is that stamped paper that I made. So those are three different options for things that you can do. I'm going to show you how we're going to just take that off the edge there. There are other things that you can do then, if you can imagine. You can do some things with the black part here that I have. It doesn't have to be black. I did black because it reminds me of stained glass. You can use multiple colors in your tissue paper. And you can start off with a differently done tag or cardstock, whatever it is that you're using. So imagine if I took, well, for instance, I was off um, stamping, actually not stamping, but the paint that I had left on my pad here, I just put the tag down and picked it up because I don't like to waste anything. So let's say I did something like this with multiple colors or whatever. Let's give me back here. There we go. So with multiple colors of paint or whatever on the tag, and then I could do the cutouts from there. So I have more interest going on in the, yeah, in the black parts. So that's something else that you could do. You could take something like this and you could stamp all over the outside. So you would have stamped images on the outside of your tag. So that's something else that you could do. But I kind of like that. It's funny too. I have to tell you, I'm not a big tag person. I am more of an ATC person than I am a tag person. So, but when I started doing junk journals, I discovered that the tags were great to just tuck inside, little things. So let's actually finish this off. Let's finish our little tag off here. Make some more cuts. Oh, I did that. Let's give this full screen again. There we go. So I'm going to just cut some more. I'm doing it slow and easy, and I'm doing big ones here so that we can get this finished. But if you were doing this at home, you could, make as many small little cuts as you wanted to. And anybody that's joining us after the fact and sees what I'm doing here, I am only using a utility knife because I could not find my X-Acto knife. This technique works a lot better with an X-Acto knife. You get more control over your cuts. So I'll make that. And then let's make a few. And you want to leave enough space between your cuts so that they don't get too fragile and break on you, because that's always a problem. You want to have your borders around the outside edge as well as, any of the spaces in between here. It's funny, one of my posts from a few weeks ago, was it accidental or random? I don't know, but I often think of accidental art, which is how I've done so many of the things that I've done. Because I used to have to come up with demos and things when I was working at conventions for my magazine, and I really only had the supplies on hand, which is why, oops, I can't find my X-Acto knife. The world has not come to an end. I can make do. I can do with something else. So maybe that helps somebody. I don't know, that you can, the whole world, all the stars don't have to be aligned for you to make something. Just go with what you have. And maybe actually that'll be a fun coffee and creativity someday that I'll do. One of my favorite things to do is to just, and again, it's random or accidental art, where I just grab a whole bunch of stuff and I make myself use what I've grabbed in some fashion without giving it too much thought. And I enjoy that a lot. So let's finish this off maybe with a flourish and give it a big one here. I'm going to end up with one extra space, but right there, I think will be good. And then we'll randomly put down some yellow and some tissue paper, dress pattern paper as well. So how are you guys doing today? What's the weather like where you're at? I think we finally are coming into good weather here. It took until halfway through May. It did that last year as well here in Ohio. All right, so I have the rest of that cut out. And I'm going to randomly, I think I'm going to put a yellow piece here. Or actually, yeah, maybe in both places. I'm going to put a yellow piece in this center spot. Like that. I'm so sorry you're stuck inside. I'm inside today too, but I'm not going to tell myself I'm stuck inside. I'll just, I choose to be inside today. I'll go outside later. I'll go outside at lunch. And, maybe take a walk later. Plus, since it's going to be so nice, it's actually going to be really hot, which is really funny because I'm planning to go to the flea market tomorrow to do some sourcing for my resale business. And I have not been able to go all spring because it's been rainy and cold and yucky. And the flea market that I love to go to is on Fridays only. And it's about an hour and 15 minutes away from my house. And I don't really care to drive an hour and 15 minutes away from my house to be outside in cruddy weather. So I haven't gone. Well, tomorrow is supposed to be beautiful, but it's also supposed to be, sorry for the bump. It's also supposed to be 87 degrees. Now I'll be going early in the morning and I will probably get out of there before 1 o'clock, but it will still, it's out in the sunshine. It's still going to be pretty hot. So we go from feast to famine or, whatever. But I'm still going to enjoy it and I'm going to have a great time. And I'm not going to complain about the weather because it's cold for way too long. And it's about time it got warm. Happy for that. Happy for the warm weather. But it is funny because, I don't think I have ever been to the flea market. Oh, that's not true. I did go a couple times in the last couple of years when it was not so nice. I mean, it was cold, Nikki. But I think that's when I discovered I didn't want to go when it was cold and icky. All right, let's put that down here. So, it is hot. It is hot. And it's out in the sun. Fortunately, the flea market that I go to, it's not all black asphalt. And there are some trees in certain areas, although it's mostly in the sun. But it is a little better than the flea markets that have constant, or not constant, they all have constant sun. It is a little better than the flea markets that have black asphalt because that just really gets really hot. I'm going to put some pattern paper there. Let's use some of that word. That'll be fun. And it's funny, the flea market that I'm actually talking about is one that I've never actually attended when there have been vendors outside. It's bizarre. They advertise it as always being open and always, I don't even know how to, they advertise it always being open. But every time I've gone, they haven't had any vendors outside. So I, had to try to figure it out because I would like to go sometime and check it out. But it is outdoors on asphalt, and I've heard people complain about it, that it's just really crazy hot. Like at a big parking lot. Now notice this one went over top of the other one. So I could leave it like that. And I did that. I cut it carefully. Or just cut it off. Like that. That no longer goes over top of that other one. That's the back. So that's what I have so far there. And notice my my writing is upside down, and that's okay. And let's put, actually I like the idea of putting another dress form piece on the bottom. I'm going to use, oh, look at that. That'll be fun. You see the little X in the middle? I kind of like that. This is an interesting dress form pattern, or not dress form, I keep saying that, dress pattern. No, I will ask you more about that in a second. Because the printed part is blue, which is really fascinating because most patterns, this one is blue. Glue that there. So tell me more about that, Delbert. I don't know where you're talking about, and I don't know. Union City. I know you're from down around Cincinnati. Am I correct? Well, maybe not. Maybe not as far as that. Now we'll keep hanging off the edge. I'm going to cut that off. And over there. All right, so I have, that's kind of what I came up with. Of course, you can see my little boo-boo there, but you know what? I could add some paint to that and pretend like I meant that. So I could actually add a little, you know, I could stamp in it in white. I could stencil over it. I might do that. Big flea market close to Cincinnati. Wow, I would have, maybe that would be a fun trip this summer to go down there. Like that. All right, so that is that. Now, if I were to use this as a tag, I would definitely finish the back. And by finish the back, I mean put something on it to cover the back. And this isn't exactly big enough, but you get the idea. I would paste something over top of that, you know, maybe even decorate it or something, but to give it a finished appearance. It also helps strengthen it as well. Let's get rid of this. All right. Yes, you can still hear me. I will have to look into that flea market that you're talking about. I think that's really cool idea. But anyway, so you guys, and then anybody joining us later, if you use the technique and make yourself some sort of a stained glass thing using this technique in some fashion, I'm assuming that you'll do a really bang up job and do something amazing, or not. I don't care. I would love it if you would tag me on Instagram. So on Instagram, I am Cyndi Duncan Art. So just tag me. I do spell Cyndi like Cyndi Lauper, and you can see it right there. So yeah, tag me and let me see what you did. No pun intended with the tag. That would be fun. Anyway, let me tell you guys that are here. So I think the two of you that are hanging out right now in the comments are, well, I know you're from the resale world, so you're aware of my other channel. But anybody that's coming in that's not, I have another channel. It's called Mimi's Treasure Cottage. And I just want to point out that I am dropping an amazing video. Yes, I am calling it amazing because it's going to be wonderful. This Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, and I would love it if everybody, it's not a premiere, so you're not going to see it pop up ahead of time, and I may or may not be in the chat, but if everybody could watch at the same, I mean, not chat because it's not a premiere. You know what I mean? If everybody could tune in at 9 a.m. Eastern time and watch it when it drops, I think it would really help the channel, and I'm hoping that that video goes viral like the other one did. It is a video about a store here in Cleveland, Ohio, that is like a vintage department store. It's like a vintage warehouse. I mean, it is unbelievable. And the video that I did about it before, I barely scratched the surface. But that video did go viral and it was very helpful to the channel. So I'm hoping that this one will also go viral as well. So anybody watching, if you want to take a look, if you like that sort of thing, vintage stuff, and you can check it out. And the filming quality, I think, is better than most of my shop along videos. So anybody that likes a more slow and focused presentation of a shop along, I think you'll also like that particular video. Anyway, that's what's going on with me. And I hope everything that's going on with you is wonderful as well. So, and like I said, I'm heading out tomorrow. I'm going to do some sourcing. Today I'm putting together all of my shipping and invoices, and it's going to be a busy day, but hopefully I will also get to create later today and this weekend. So I hope everybody has a really creative day. Thank you guys for stopping in and joining me in the chat. Thanks to everybody that comes later. If you are not subscribed to my art channel, I would love it if you would subscribe and hit the bell so you know when I go live and post new content. Oh, and share. If you know people who also like mixed media, I would love it if you would share my channel as well. So thanks for coming, you guys. Thanks, Christine. Thanks, Delbert. I will see you all next time. Bye.